everyone, happy Monday. Hope everyone's having a great start to their week. Super impromptu live for me. I just happened to kind of get ready because I'm going to be doing a training in about 30 minutes. And I thought, well, I've had this kind of topic in my phone notes for a while and I've really been wanting to share it because I think it's valuable. So anyway, I'm sharing with you all today. I hope you do find it valuable. Let me go ahead and introduce myself while people are hopping on. I'm Ashley Salmadani. I am a wife. I'm a mom to a toddler. I'm passionate about a lot of things, but two things I'm super invested in and passionate about are building online businesses and also kind of health and fitness. Like if you notice, things that I post a lot of times have to do with those two things because they're a big part of my life and they're things that really get me excited. And so I like to share tips and tricks related to both. And this topic today is actually my number one, I would say, growth secret for anything to do with health and fitness, business, and yes, even relationships. I'm super excited to share with you. I see some friends hopping on. Hi, Katie. Hi, Nancy. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. If you're hopping on and you are on live, go ahead and say hey. If you're watching by replay, go ahead and type replay. I love to be able to kind of circle back and reply and say hey, and appreciate you for watching and taking your time to watch my crazy randomness. But hopefully you find this super applicable and useful. So what do you think the secret is? What do you think I'm going to talk about? What do you think the secret is to growth and success, or one of the number one secrets for growth and success in business, any type of business, particularly online business, building on social media, health and fitness, and relationships? What do you think that could be? Any guesses? Does anyone have any guesses? Hi, Lindsay. Hey. All right. Give me your best guesses. I would love to know, especially if you're watching by replay, because you'll have some more think time. You can push pause and think, what might she be talking about? And I am going to be looking at my notes because, again, this was super impromptu, but I thought, yes, I have the chance. My husband's watching my daughter, my little 3-year-old, and I don't look like a complete hot mess right now. So we're going for it. Okay, so that thing is, drum roll, please. Super exciting. I know you're excited. Consistency. Consistency is key. You've probably heard that a million times, but consistency is so important. And I know you're like, oh my God, that's not, wow, rocket science. I know it's very basic, but you'd be surprised at how difficult it is to be consistent sometimes. So I want to tell you just a little bit about things that I've been reading on why consistency is important. And then most importantly, I'm going to give you some practical tips for if you have not been being consistent in, say, your workouts or, your health and fitness journey, or you haven't been being consistent in your business, or even in your, in your marriage or relationship, some practical things that you can do, like literally starting tonight, to get you on a more consistent track toward growth and success, because that's what I want for me and that's what I want for you. And I see Melody's on. Hi, Melody. All right, you guys. So, a couple reasons why consistency is important. If you just think about it especially I always think about like in building an online business. If you're building a business through social media, consistency is so important, right? If you showed up to work, so let's take a job, an outside the home, not online job. If you showed up to work like once a week and that was your consistency, well, first of all, you'd be fired, but you wouldn't be very effective at your job. So same thing with social media. If you're not consistently showing up and providing value, that you could be doing everything right. You can show up once a month on social media and, give a great live or a great post that's just tons of value added. But if you're not doing that consistently, then it's really not going to be worth very much. So same goes for health and fitness. You could go into the gym and you could do a killer workout once a week, or maybe once, or I don't know, a couple times a month, but you're not going to see much growth and you're not going to see much progress, even though that workout was killer. Again, with your diet and nutrition or your supplements, you could take your supplements, like every other day, and you might see some results, but your consistency is what's going to really get you the bang for your buck. You're really going to see growth and progress. Same thing with, you meal prep. You're on your health and wellness kick. You meal prep for like a month. and then you don't ever again, and you go back to, getting fast food every time you're out. That consistency or lack of consistency is what is going to be your downfall, or what's going to really give you growth and progress. And I don't mean consistency like you have to be like a nutball and, go full out every day all the time. Consistency can be at whatever pace you pick for building your business, or whatever pace you pick for your fitness. But stick with whatever that is consistently. And we'll talk more about how to do that. I see a lot of people in both arenas, because for me, my business does have to do with building an online business and also helping people with health and wellness goals. And I see a lot of stopping and starting, going hard and then doing nothing, or going hard and then falling off the wagon. And that's human nature, but that is oftentimes the sole reason that people don't see the growth and success and, meeting of goals that they really want. So I love thinking about, talking about, and being consistent, because anyone can be consistent. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be this special unicorn person to show up and be consistent toward your own goals, right? That's the cool thing. And you're in control of the pace of your consistency. But the important part is to stay that pace. Give you another example for fitness. If you have health and fitness goals, for me, consistency with working out means working out 3 days a week. Sometimes I do more, but I have worked out 3 days a week for, 20 years, probably 20 years, even through pregnancy. I don't care what that workout is. I have been consistent with workouts for many reasons, but I'm not doing anything crazy, right? It's just doing something at a certain pace over time, and you see results and you see success and you see, some growth, but the consistency is the key. Had I done 3 workouts a week for like 2 months and then did nothing for like a year, that's not gonna, I'm not gonna see growth that way. So if you can stick to 2 workouts a week, 2 hour-long walks a week, that's gonna be so much better if you can stick to that and be consistent than to do something that's out of your pace, like to try and go to CrossFit 5 times a week and burn yourself out and injure yourself and then not work out for 6 months. So is this making sense? If this is making sense, can you give me some hearts? Consistency is truly the key, and we're gonna get to kind of how can you practically be more consistent. The other thing about consistency is that it builds trust. Okay, so obviously consistency in relationships builds trust. I think we can all understand that. If you're dating someone and they text you every day for a week and then you hear nothing from them, you don't really trust them. Or the way that you react to your spouse or they react to you, the consistency is what's going to build that trust, right? So that's huge. And that is the same in business as well. If you are, consistently showing up, consistently providing value, consistently following up with your customers, showing them care, following up with your teammates, if you're in network marketing like I am, that consistency is going to build trust. And that is so huge in so many ways. So consistency, again, in showing up, in adding value, in, being there for people in relationships, in business, being there for yourself, for your own fitness goals. It's so key in developing trust. Yes, even trust in yourself, because that's a real thing. Whole nother live topic. And then consistency, this is huge for anything that you're trying to make progress in or growth or find success in, is it develops routines and builds momentum. Consistency is what's going to develop the routines, and routines are where you find success. Because if you can do the do and whatever it is that you're trying to improve upon, be it fitness goals, relationships, business, if you can continue to do the do consistently, you're going to grow and you're going to find success. It's people who stop and start all the time. And I have been guilty of this in so many areas. So I'm not saying I'm the master of this by any means. It's something that I can always work on in some area of life, but I have seen the proof in the pudding of when I am consistent and I do apply that consistency to things, I have seen the fruits of that. And I really want to share that with everyone, because I don't know that I always really understood that. So again, not just for a month, not just when you kind of feel like it, but every day, or whatever your pace is, doing the things that you need to do to make progress. So let's get to how to do this. And this, I had to actually look this up because I'm like, well, I think I know like how to be consistent based on what I do, but I wanted kind of global how-tos for you, practical ways to stay consistent. Okay, so here we go. Are you ready? Hopefully this is helpful. Number one, so here are tips to stay consistent. And I want you to think about maybe one particular area. So for you, if you have an online business, first of all, if you have an online business, so if you're an influencer, if you're a blogger, if you are a real estate agent, you're kind of marketing yourself and your properties, if you are a network marketer, if you're a social retailer, whatever you are, if you have some sort of business you're building online, drop a 1 in the comments. I would love to see that. You don't have to tell me what it is, but just number 1, if you're building a business online, these tips are gonna apply to you. Number 2, can you drop a number 2 in the comments if you have kind of health and wellness goals that you're trying to stay consistent with, whether that be taking supplements, whether that be getting in your routine or your workout routines, or whether that be, you know, a combo, because it should be, I mean, fitness goals are so much like 90% to do with your actual nutrition. So number 2, if that's kind of what you're thinking of right now, you need to be more consistent in. Or 3, if you're thinking, gosh, I could really show up in my relationships more consistently, or one, maybe your marriage, or maybe a particular friendship. And number 3, if you're kind of framing this around like a relationship, okay? And I know this is like a big topic, and I could probably will break it down into chunks, but 1, 2, or 3, I would love to know that, just so I know kind of where you're at and how you're framing this. So anyway, these should all be applicable to any of those. So how to stay consistent. Number 1 starts with the mind. So again, I'm kind of reading this because some of these are ones that I looked up, including this one. So eliminate negative thinking and kind of get rid of those things in your mind that tell you you can't or you shouldn't, those negative thoughts that come into play. Hi, Jody. So eliminate negative thinking. So when you notice, and how do you do this? So practical part, how do you do this? When you notice negative thought patterns, turn them around or kind of replace them with a more positive thought. So for example, if you find yourself thinking, I can't do this, you know, I can't do those, you know, daily income producing activities I know I should be doing. I can't go to the gym. I can't, you know, stay up a little later to do an hour of meal prepping so I have healthy meals for the week. Turn it around and think, I'm gonna practice doing this, or I'm gonna go ahead and do this, even if I'm not that great to start with, or even if I don't feel like it, I'm gonna do this. So take that negative thought and catch it. And this takes some training. This really takes some training of your mind, but take that negative thought and turn it into something that's a positive. I'm going to try this anyway. I'm going to do this anyway. And then like I said, consistency makes those routines, it makes those habits, but a lot of times we really have to kind of nip it in the bud and nip that negative thinking in the bud. Our brains want to like keep us comfortable, right? Because a lot of times when you're trying to establish consistency and establish habits that are out of your norm, your brain's gonna be like, whoa, that's not comfortable and I do not wanna go there. So take note of those negative thoughts and turn them around into something more productive and positive. Okay, another tip for being consistent in any area, set realistic goals that are specific. So realistic and specific goals. So I did a live, I think last week, talking about setting goals that are achievable. So I usually what I like to do is to set my goals, like 3 goals or tasks the night before the next day. So usually I do one having to do with business because I'm busy. I have my 3-year-old. We don't have, you know, she's not in preschool or childcare, so I have very limited time to work. So I can't do like a full day's worth of work. I kind of have to pick one kind of task or project, and that will be my goal for that next day. So at night, I write that goal down. So write down a goal related to maybe work or business, if that's an area you want to be consistent in. And then write down one, you know, if you're going to do a workout the next day, write down that goal. So I'm going to walk for 30 minutes, or I'm going to do, you know, XYZ workout, and have that be your goal. So write down kind of your top goals the night before and have them be realistic. Don't write down, you know, 20 million things that you want to do, because you're not going to be able to be consistent with that. You might have to play with this, you might have to do some tweaking, but set realistic and specific goals that you can achieve and you can do with consistency. If you overwhelm yourself, if you're like me, and you overwhelm yourself, you'll end up doing a whole lot of nothing. Has that ever happened to you where you make it this big to-do list and you just get so overwhelmed with where do I even start that you get nothing done and you're like the antithesis of productive and consistent? So am I the only one? Do you guys relate to that? Raise hand emoji if you relate to that at all. Okay, so, now I can't see my notes. Okay, accountability. This one's obvious. Accountability when you're trying to be consistent with something is huge. So whatever your goals are, reach out to someone and let them know what it is that you're trying to be consistent with. There's so many ways that you can, have accountability partners or accountability groups. I start Facebook groups sometimes when I need to be held accountable for something and develop a habit of consistency. Last month, a bunch of us did an accountability group on waking up early or making extra time to work on a goal. So reach out and asking for accountability, share those goals that you created and check in. It really does help if you're trying to be consistent on your own and no one knows what you're trying to be consistent in. It's really easy to not do those things. So today I was sharing with my team what my kind of activity goals are for the week in building my business. And so I shared that with them, not because they care to know, but because I wanted them to know so that I had accountability. So one of those things was doing a training, one weekly training. So I'm doing that tonight, right after this video. And then the other one was to do lives twice this week. So here's one. So I wanted them to know, here's my goals. They don't need to know it, but it's accountability for me. So reach out and ask for accountability if you have a goal. Reach out to me if you need accountability. I'd be happy to be accountability buddies, group partners, whatever. I love it. I know how key it is to staying consistent. Having people know what it is that you set forth to do keeps you accountable. I see Chelsea's on, Peggy's on. Hello, friends. All right, next up, tip for staying consistent, and then I'm gonna hop off just a couple more. I'll skip some of these. Oh, remember your why. So remember your why for wanting to be consistent with that goal or that project or that task in the first place. So if we're talking about building an online business, why did you even start that? So remembering your why. What is that? Why did you start a health and fitness journey? Why do you want to lose weight? Why, what is the real why? The why that really gets to the heart of, why do you want to be married? Why, all of these things. Why are you trying to be consistent? Why do you want growth in these areas? And then I also think this is key. Think about who is impacted if you don't show up consistently for those things. So in your business, whose life will not be touched or not be changed or not be helped if you don't show up consistently and add value within your business that you're building online? Who will not get the results from, if you have customers, who's not going to get the results if you don't show up for your clients or your customers? There's just so many ways that other people will be impacted. So it's not just about your why, it's about who's going to be impacted if you don't show up consistently. If you are not consistent with your health and fitness goals and you're not getting on track with your health, are your kids going to be impacted? Are you shortening your life because you're not living a healthy lifestyle? Who is going to be impacted by you not being consistent? And that helps me a lot to think about other people and how my actions or inactions are going to impact people and who I'm not going to reach if I'm not showing up powerfully and consistently. In your relationships, that's obvious, right? If you're not showing up consistently, who is going to be negatively impacted by that? So remember your why and why consistency is important, and then who it's going to impact if you don't show up consistently for those things. Okay, a couple other practical tips for remaining consistent. I see a lot of people stop and start when it comes to goals because they start and they get momentum and then they fail, or they have a perceived oh, I failed, so I'm a failure. The biggest tip that I can give to remain consistent and really just to be successful in general in anything is to, when you hit those stumbling blocks and you feel like you failed, think of it as a learning experience, and then move forward. So use that as like, oh, all right, let me make a little tweak to this. This didn't work for me. I need to get up early in the morning, or I need to, work out late. Tweak things. Don't take one setback or one failure as something to totally derail you. Or someone says something, you're building an online business, someone says something to you negative and ignorant or whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I can't do anything for 2 weeks. Okay, again, think about your why and think about who it's going to impact if you don't show up for yourself, for your business, for your relationships, for your own health and fitness goals. Who does that impact? So don't stop if you hit roadblocks or failures. Fail forward, keep moving, and think of it as a growing experience. Share your mess, turn it into a message. Don't let those things stop you and keep you in that stop-starting pattern for whatever it is you're trying to be consistent with. Personal development. Huge. Personal development. If you are trying to grow in your relationship or your marriage, listen to podcasts related to marriage. Go to counseling. Listen to audiobooks. Pour personal development into you in those areas that you're trying to be consistent in, that you're trying to make progress and focus on. That's going to help you to stay motivated. Surround yourself with community of like-minded people if you're, in business or fitness goals, and I know I'm all over the place, but hopefully this is making sense. This is just so, personal development can apply to any area, but it's going to help you to stay consistent because it will help keep you motivated and help keep your mind right and focused on positive things and forward progress in whatever it is that you're trying to do. Another way to stay consistent, recharge. So don't just go balls out in whatever it is that you're doing and go full force at a pace that you cannot sustain. There's seasons when you can run toward goals, but if you're trying to do that and you're consistently trying to be over the top, going hard, you're going to burn out. I've done it myself in all those areas, literally all the areas. I've done that in business, I've done that in fitness, I've done that in relationships where you just try to go so hard, you burn out, and then you're way set back because then you just don't want to do nothing. You're like, peace out, I just went so hard, I can't do anything. And then you get stuck in, you're not in that momentum. You don't have that consistent momentum to just keep rolling along. So huge tip would be to take rest to recharge. It's better to stay at a steady, consistent pace than to burn yourself out and not ever come back from that. So hopefully that's kind of a helpful, practical tip. Self-care, recharge, take a day off. Okay, don't take weeks off, take a day off. Learn to rest, not to quit. Okay, I think lastly, if you're trying to be consistent and you're trying to develop a habit of being consistent, you've set your pace for whatever it is, whether it be business, whether it be fitness, once you set that pace, stick with it, okay? It's 30 days to make a habit, 90 days for it to be second nature. So last month, for example, I did 30 days. During the weekdays, I got up at 5 a.m. Okay, I had a goal that I was working on. I got up at 5 a.m. It became a habit, but it did not become second nature. So I need to continue on with that. That's not second nature. I'm still in my nature of wanting to wake up late. So give yourself some time to see change. Once you've picked this pace that you want to go at consistently, give yourself time. Get that accountability. Go for 30 days, go for 60 days, go for 90 days, and it's gonna become second nature, and you won't have to be doing all this, switching your thoughts back to positive as often as you were. It's gonna be second nature. So once you're more consistent, that's gonna lead you to those habits that are going to lead you to that growth and success that you want in any area of life. I promise you that's true. I promise you, I've never seen it not work. You have to, as long as you know the things that you need to be doing, and then you go at a pace that's consistent with the goals that you want to achieve, and you continue to do that over time, you're gonna have growth and you're gonna see success and you're gonna feel great, and you're gonna be able to share and inspire others around you in your world to do the same, whether that be your family, whether that be online, whether that be at the gym. You're gonna be an inspiration, and that's what it's all about. Let's pay our success and our growth and our lessons that we learn forward. So, in conclusion, don't be resistant to being consistent, guys. That's my takeaway for you today. Don't be resistant to being consistent. Kind of feels like a drag at first, but it really is, you know, once you get into the groove of something and you're like, yes, this is working, you know, become second nature, and you'll feel so good about what you're accomplishing brick by brick. You're not getting burnt out. You're going to feel more balanced and harmonious, and you're going to be making progress towards whatever it is that you are trying to make progress towards. So I hope this was helpful. As always, if you're ever, you know, just kind of like open to learning about what it is that I do business-wise, or what it is that I do workout or nutrition-wise, I am an open book, you guys. Send me a message, ask me any questions. I'm always down to talk about these things. I'm passionate about both business and fitness, and I'm passionate about helping other people toward their goals first and foremost above all of that. And it gets me super excited and super pumped and super jazzed, and people make fun of me for saying jazz, but I get jazzed to share the wealth and share the love with other people. So always feel free to reach out. If you found this valuable, share it, comment value. I would love to know if you found this valuable. If we have enough, you know, hashtag values in the comments, I'll do splinter lives on how to be consistent in different areas and maybe even more specific. But hopefully this was useful, and I will see you all very soon. I'm going to hop off and do that training for our team, and I will, I think I already said see you soon. But anyway, bye guys.